Okay, I think we can get started now. Yep. So everyone who's here nice and early, thank you for joining. If you miss any part of this, if you want to watch anything again, then feel free to check out our YouTube channel. This recording will go up there, and everything that we say here, everything that's shown will be up on there. So you can also check out our past webinars. We've also had software in robotics. We've had parcel automation. So make sure go ahead check out the YouTube channel. We've got other videos there, and this one will be up there shortly. So first of all, hello and welcome to the TLA Robotics event, Students in Robotics. My name is Natasha Basco, and I'm one of the 6 group leaders in TLA Robotics. This webinar, as many of you have probably read a lot already, is aimed for those looking to get into a career within robotics. Whether it's a graduate job or whether you're thinking of a startup, perhaps you want to pursue an academic course in robotics at university, or you want to take part in competitions or robotic challenges, the opportunities are endless, and that's why I would like to share with you all. A bit about myself, I studied electronic engineering and mechatronics. I graduated in 2020, last year, and I've had the challenge of the graduate job hunt, perhaps like some of you or most of you. But before I tell my part of the story with TLA Robotics and how it helped me with my own journey, let me introduce what TLA is all about. And then once I'm done, we can move on to the company presentations, which I'm sure all of us are here for. Well, Tech London Advocates, or TLA, is a voluntary organization that was originally set up to promote the tech ecosystem in London. But that group has now expanded globally, and we have multiple working groups, for example, retail tech, IoT, fintech, AR, VR. You can check out their website as well. We've had lots of working groups. This one is TLA Robotics. You can think of it as a huge network of tech enthusiasts, which has around 10,000 members in the UK. If you want to join, it's free. Anyone can join TLA. So if you wish to join, the email is there. You can take screenshots so you don't forget what the emails are. That's a tip for today from me. Take screenshots of the emails that you see with the companies within the company presentations if you want to contact them. And the agenda is right there. So let me just go to the next slide. We have 3 aims at TLA, and one of them is to increase the movement around the investment into EU and UK robotics, especially in hardware-based startups. So going back to my story, as I've mentioned, I came across TLA Robotics during my job hunt, and I saw it as a networking opportunity for me, because like I said, it's a huge network. I've got to know a lot of robotic companies, a lot of CEOs, a lot of people that are well experienced within the sector. And one of the things that I've come across, thanks to Tom and his reports from Style Intelligence, I know that when it comes to investments, the UK and Europe is way behind North America and Asia in terms of funding for robotic companies and those within those the hardware components. So that's why it's one of our goals. I've also come to know that less than 15% of all the AGV vendors are based in the US, but they have attracted more than 80% of investments. So there's some figures there which makes you think, and then hence that's why one of our goals are what they are. Another goal is to encourage take-up of robotics and automation. And lastly, it's to encourage the gender balance of women in robotics. And I think that's partly why I'm here as well. I think as we do more webinars, we're seeing more women presenters, so that's great. If you want to join, feel free to email us if you want to learn more, because I know it can be a little bit confusing at first. It was for me, but once I got in and started doing things, it was much more clear of what our aim is. Feel free to email me or the team or the group email. We can give you info, we can help you out. Yeah, so just let us know, drop us an email. If I go to the next slide, this is the team at TLA Robotics. So we have Thomas Anderson, who is the founder of TLA Robotics. He founded it in April 2020. And this is where you can see 2 of us at the bottom there, Meknor, or Mani as I call her. I probably pronounced that wrong, sorry Manny, but I will call her by Manny. And me, who is a graduate, we are students, or I was a student, so don't feel like this is that you would have to have experience. It's not the case. What I've been doing at TLA Robotics is basically networking, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. This is how I managed to organize this webinar. I networked with the presenters, they are here, so thank you all to the presenters that are here. And normally when it came to meetings or presentations like this, we would announce that I'm looking for a job, but I'm glad to say that's not the case anymore. I'll tell my little story of how I managed to get a job, an internship. I was part of TLA Robotics back in September 2020, and I had my first webinar with TLA Robotics. At the time, that was their second. And one of the presenters was ATA Recruitment, which Sam Robinson was presenting. And well, he's a recruitment agency, and I got in touch with him. And he told me a lot of robotic companies that could have been potentially something that I wished to apply to. So that's exactly what I did. I went ahead and applied. And a couple months later, I was in the recruitment process, did the typical initial interviews, the technical interviews, and finally I was offered an internship at this company. So you can see how TLA Robotics has helped me. So a huge thanks to the team at TLA Robotics. Everyone in a way chipped in somehow. So thank you, Tom, Matt, Philip, T, and even Manny as well. She's our recent group leader. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. The emails are there, take a screenshot. If you have questions, please take this opportunity to ask away. You are students or perhaps graduates or maybe others, feel free to ask. And we will forward that to the panelists accordingly. And if you wanna give us feedback, then feel free, because this is one of the first students webinars aimed for students. And I want to make this for you guys. So if there's anything that you might want more of, or perhaps we could have done differently, feel free to leave us feedback at our emails. But I think I've talked enough. But before I finish off, I want to say another huge thanks to Robot Center, Philip English, who's not here at the moment, but he will be joining us soon. Thank you so much, Philip. And it's thanks to him that this webinar can be broadcasted to you guys. And he has kindly hosted this Zoom event. So that's it for me. There's no other things that I need to go through. We've got an agenda. We do have KUKA originally as first. I don't know if he has joined. Otherwise, I might move over to Carmen. Is that okay? No, we have Jeff. If Jeff is okay to go, then are you okay, Jeff, to go ahead and present?
I think Jeff might be having some problems, so if we go to Carmen, that would be working best.
No problem. So Carmen, please.
All right. No problem.
Sharing.
I'm going to share my presentation. First of all, I want to thank to TLA the opportunity for being here. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here. So can you confirm me that you see the whole screen? The presentation? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Now, ASTI Talent and Technology Foundation is the foundation created by the company ASTI Mobile Robotics. ASTI Mobile Robotics group is a group of company. I'm going to stop the video. Sorry for not trying it before. As I was saying before, ASTI Mobile Robotics Group is a group of companies who are really leaders in mobile robotics. They produce all kind of vehicles, automated vehicles to move all around the facilities. And as I want to start saying that, this group of companies is led by a woman who is a very proactive woman, and she's always looking for diversity in their teams. And she just realized that keeping all that diversity between men and women in the teams of the company was not really easy. And she just asked why. And the answer was really very easy answer, because there are no women applying for the vacancies. So we keep track on that and look for information to see the reasons why that would happen. And we detected that in some of the STEM studies, such as engineering, there are less than 30% of feminine presence. So, well, she just asked us to start performing something to revert this data. And that's how the program STEM Talent Girl started. Sorry, this is a bit tricky. The program STEM Talent Girl is a program which is born to inspire, educate, and empower the next generation of women in science and technology. How we can do all of this? Well, the main difference with our program compared to other programs similar that are already running is that we do not impact on the girls at just one moment. We impact them when they are in high school, but we go on working with them when they are in the previous years before university and in the university also. Even we help them to integrate in the labor market. I know that we are talking about a very long period of time, and the girls change in their needs, their tastes, their necessities. So we have decided to divide the program in three programs. The first of the program will be Science for Her. This program is aimed to students in high school. And in this very moment, it's very important to impact the girls, so propose them to realize, to perform different activities, such as a challenge search, which is a kind of test to analyze their capabilities. Some of the studies detect that there is a lack of role models with women. So we organize different master classes with very relevant women in science and technology, and also in the entrepreneurial sector. So they can be a kind of inspiration and, of course, a role model for all the students. We also perform different workshops, so the girls can start learning technology by doing. Other of the activities that we make is shadowing. Shadowing is just we invite the girls to spend a couple of hours with a working woman in STEM, but in her site, so they can experience and live what is the daily life in a professional woman in STEM. And finally, we invite all those girls to participate in different events, so they can start meeting other girls with the same interest. What happens when the girls grow a bit and they are just in those previous years before university? They are a bit older, they do not need as much impact as before, but we offer them the possibility to work with a mentor. One key point of this program is the net of mentors involved in the program. Right now we have something like 500. And those women have mentoring sessions with the girls during once per month, So at the end of the year, they feel more confident. And the last of the part is the program Real Work, aimed to the girls in the last years in university or just graduated. And that's the part where we help them to get into the labor market. Some of the key factors of the program. We started 5 years ago in a small town in Spain. Right now we are in 11 different towns. We have nearly 800 students, but in these 5 years, we have been able to impact on 5,000. We have developed a lot of activities. Well, the last of the things we have been able to achieve in this difficult time was to launch the first edition of the STEM Talent Girl online, which is a totally virtualized program aimed to inspire the future generations. This one represents the kind of partners that are working with us and that make possible this program. And finally, thank you very much for your time. I hope I only took 5 minutes, and once again, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you so much. Very interesting. If we have Jeff, perhaps, are we ready with Jeff?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry about that. I had some IT issues earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to work through this this presentation. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. To follow, kind of what's already been said, just to talk a little bit about myself personally at the start and my journey to be where I am here today. I left school at 16. I did so because I had a romantic plan to become a chartered engineer, and I still have no idea where that came from, but I did. So I did a classic engineering apprenticeship, and at the same time did my university studies in part-time, and I went along the path of doing engineering mathematics. And by the time I was about 30, I was involved in, I was a company director, and I was buying and selling machines out of Japan. And in one trip to Japan, I got to see this plastic injection molding machine with a robot on it, and it just looked fantastic. And I thought, this is the future. I've got to be involved in this, and that was my first exposure to robotics in Japan, and the rest is kind of history, as they would say. So with regard to my current role, I'm at KUKA. I'm CEO with based out of UK, just outside of Birmingham. So just to go through a little bit about KUKA, hopefully everyone can see that second slide. I'm loath to put it into presentation mode because that's when my volume went last time, so please bear with me. So KUKA, for those of you who don't know, we have representation in 41 different countries. We have 14,000 employees and 90,000 global customers. We're headquartered in Germany, and we have a revenue position of certainly over 3 billion. So we're quite a large organization. This is kind of what we do. So we split our activity between the supply of naked robots and also the solutions business. So if you looked at, say, solutions, what you would expect to see is something like a car factory, which may have 1,000 robots in it. A contract for a body and white line within a car factory may be easily 150 million. So pretty big numbers. But we are involved in other areas like tier one, the sorting of nuclear waste and decommissioning of redundant nuclear facilities, photovoltaics, the production of solar panels, and also we've got some really key technologies in the medical sector, which involves guidance for surgeons, so on and so forth. The robots that we're involved in, I've listed down the right-hand side, but it's conventional robotics, SCARA, Delta, mobile robotics on platform, and digital services. They are the primary sectors that we are serving. There's no great surprises there, I guess, to any of you. These are robots of the conventional design. Left-hand side, we have our sensitive robots all the way through to more conventional devices, which can go up to 1.3 tons. And I guess this is what you guys would see quite regularly when you think about robotics. Maybe not these. These are areas where we have collaborative robots which have the ability to work alongside a man or a woman within a working environment. The person can touch the robots, they can interact. And we have various technologies, as you can see, associated with mobile robotics and moving quite large pieces of equipment around factories. They would be things like the bodies for wind converters or trains. This is an interesting one, as if you look at the way we are moving with regard to product over the course of the last 50 years, there's a lot more customization with regards to products, and therefore Industry 4.0 and the industrial Internet of Things is much more prevalent. So those sort of connected manufacturing services are ever more prevalent as we are moving forwards. One final slide. I thought I'd try and get this one in to try and encapsulate, why should anyone have an interest in robotics? There's a huge and immense job satisfaction associated with what we do, be it the delivery of a single robot or making a complete factory work. When you leave and press the button, the feeling of accomplishment is immense. The tech sector is very much a meritocracy, sorry. So there is no age barrier. There are no barriers to gender. There are no barriers whatsoever. Just to give you a small example here, we're just finishing off an installation now, which is a complete plastic tailgate manufacturing system. And the last people we have on site, we have a Spanish guy, a Colombian woman, and a Mexican guy, and they are all robot stroke PLC guys. So you can be the best in your game at 23 if you're good enough. It's a fast-paced industry, so it's one where there's constant new things to embrace and to get on top of. Ongoing learning, therefore, is very much part of the forward environment. In this day and age, it's as future-proof as you can make it. If there's ever going to be a job with job security, it surely has to be within the sector that we serve. And there is enormous international scope for travel, work, job shops. I mean, I can only speak from a KUKA perspective, but we often will take someone from Japan and place them in the UK, someone from France and put them in Argentina. That happens quite a lot. We actively encourage that. On a subcontract role, often you can see people who are robot and PLC programmers who can be picking up work for 3 months, 2 months, 1 year in a global location and move to another global location. Those skills are easily transferable. And then finally, earnings. What can you earn? Well, I've sort of quoted a figure at the bottom. A subcontract programmer can easily earn £400 or £500 a day for their services, and you can be top of your game as a robot programmer in your early 20s. Okay.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for that. So over to Matthew. Matthew, are you ready?
Yeah. Hi, Natasha.
Hi,
So,
Matthew. Thank you.
Hopefully, when I share my screen, I think, Jeff, you need to stop sharing yours.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, bear with me. Hopefully, can you see my screen now? Yeah? Great. Okay, so I'm Matthew Studley. I'm from the Bristol Robotics Lab, and I want to talk to you about a project which I lead, which is called SIROC. So since the early part of the last decade, we've been running a competition framework called the European Robotics League, in which we've got 3 categories, which we call consumer, professional, and emergency. And the idea is that teams, typically from university, bring their robots along and they compete in order to benchmark their robots. So this is different from other robotics competitions because there is a scientific purpose behind it. So the idea is that if you get your robot to perform a particular task and its performance is measured, then you can look at the different systems and subsystems in your robot and you can compare it to other solutions to the problem. So I should mention, of course, that the CIROC project is funded by the European Union. So given the European Robotics League, where does CIROC come in? Now, Jeff has just told us a little bit about the Internet of Things. And of course, this finds its application in a new development, which is becoming increasingly important, that of smart cities. And in smart cities, we have sensors and computing to enable the city to optimize its behavior and also to support all sorts of services. Now, because smart cities have sensors and processing and actuators, they seem like a robot themselves. And for many reasons, it seems like smart cities could be the ideal home for robots, both in the home and outside it. But this might have all sorts of benefits and drawbacks. I mean, we can imagine, for example, that robots in smart cities would enable us to have all sorts of services we don't have at the moment. But equally, robots wandering around as mobile sensor platforms can pick up all sorts of information about where you are and what your movements are. And this might enable all sorts of nefarious purposes, which we don't know about at the moment. Now, lots of the use cases of robots in smart cities will fall into the 3 categories of the ERL, that's consumer, professional, and emergency. And it's becoming increasingly pressing that we start to talk about how robots will act in smart cities. Most people in the world will live in a city by 2050. And cities, therefore, are going to have a huge impact on the way we live our lives and on our relationship with our environment. So our mission in CIROC then is to put our robot competitions in the center of cities so that we can show people what robots are capable of. And we want to give people facts about the state of the art in European robotics so that we can foster discussions about what sort of future we all want. And to that end, we held our first European Smart City event in Milton Keynes in September 2019. And we had a bunch of different competitions organized as episodes, all loosely themed around smart shopping. Now, when you take robots out of the lab and you put them in the real world, you find that even the simplest of tasks is quite complicated for a robot to achieve. So, for example, one of our episodes was opening a door. But opening a door is quite hard because, particularly if you've got a bipedal mobile robot, the robot has to manage its balance while it's manipulating the door handle, pulling the door towards it, and then stepping through the door. All of this presents significant challenge to a robot. And we had teams of students from all over Europe who brought their robots to compete, to benchmark their robots and to have fun. We think that we may have been seen by about 650,000 people in the week that we were in Milton Keynes. So now I'd like to show you a very short video, which hopefully will give you a taste of what it was like. Yeah, it was great. It was super fun. And we had people from all over the place having a great time. Anyway, so the next event is in Bologna in September this year. And the theme of the event is going to be smart inclusion. So again, we're going to have a bunch of different episodes. and the robots will be out and about in Bologna, interacting with real people. The teams will be discovering what techniques work and what don't. And we're going to be releasing details of the episodes at the end of this month. So for those of you who are university students who are interested in taking part, if you have a look on our website, sciroc.org, we'll have full details there. We have a variety of other ways that you can keep in touch with us. And I would say that, you know, looking forward towards the future, it's our ambition that we'll be running these smart city events for years into the future. We've got tremendous feedback from cities, including some very high profile cities in Europe, about their ambition to run this event, because it brings the brightest young minds and forward thinking companies to the city. So it's of huge benefit to the city itself. So that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matthew. Just a quick reminder, if you guys have questions, the Q&A is there. Feel free to post them there to write up your questions, and we will have a Q&A session towards the end to answer any questions for the panelists. And we also have Muna up next. You'd like to get ready? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I will share my screen. So I hope you can see it. So yes, first of all, I want to thank you, Natasha and Tom, for being here. It's a great pleasure for me. So I'm a working student at SSI Schafer, Automation GmbH in Germany, and I want to tell you something about my way to robotics. So I wasn't always a working student. It's since 2018. I study business administration with major in entrepreneurship and organizational development. So it's far away from technology, but my interest is very much in technology. And so I decided to apply at the SSI Schafer Group. SSI Schafer is a logistics solution company which provides high bay warehouses and have many different parts in technology. And so I wanted to take be part in it. And so I applied, and I worked first of all in business development and then in project management. And now I'm in the team of the automated guided vehicles. It's HEV systems. And it's quite interesting because I learned a lot about robotics and AMRs, so autonomous mobile robots. We don't have it in the product portfolio, but we have the HEVs, and it's very interesting because I learned something about the mathematical and technical side of robotics and HEVs, and I work with Microsoft Office programs and some company related programs. And I think the most important skills you should have is first of all networking, because networking is it's the key. I think it's the key to go or to get to know a company, and some CEOs or some other employees, and with this relationships, you as a student you can apply to a company, and then maybe you have luck, and And so another important skill is, of course, team spirit, because without a team, it wouldn't work. So, I had no work experience in industrial companies, but I think it's an advantage when you apply for an internship or after graduate. You should gain work experience because you have some things which are very important to work on, especially in programs or something like that. So this is the HEV product overview. We have some HEVs like the Weasel. Weasel is one of the most known HEV in the company. So it's a short product portfolio. And some of students which I study with, they asked if I need programming skills. So no, I don't, because I often work with PowerPoint or Excel, or I work with the ERP system, so the Enterprise Resource Planning System. And I don't need programming skills, but if you want to work in the IT or in the SAP system, you need programming skills, I think. But also when you don't have it, you can apply at SSI Schafer, and maybe it's okay and you can learn it in the company. So why am I doing this, or why am I working in such a technical related field? I think it's very important for women or girls to choose a technical field or study technical subjects, because I think there's still too few women in this field, and I want to encourage everybody to be a part of a robotics or something like that, because it's quite interesting. And for me, it is a way I will go further. So I want to make or to do a master degree in artificial intelligence. And so the working student job, it helped me a lot to get to know me or my interests better. And I think it's a great solution to work in a company which is related to a robotic field or to HEVs. Yes, and my tips for the students here is definitely to think outside the box, because only when you can think diverse, you can innovate yourself or others. And it's very important to educate yourself. So if you are interested in technical topics, then you have to continue your education. And I think it's very important to educate yourself further. And you have to build your network, because this is quite the most important topic. I wouldn't had this job without a network. So if you get to know people, check or join on LinkedIn and write them everywhere and always. And so you can build your network. It's really, really important for students. So, and if you want to get in touch or want to apply at SSI Schafer, you can write me or go on the website and check it out. And I'm also on LinkedIn. Join. Thank you.
Thank you, Muna. Thank you so much. Gregor, you ready?
I would be ready. Hopefully you see my screen.
Yeah.
Perfect. So briefly, I've been from the startup perspective. So briefly about me. My name is Gregor. Born and grown up in Midwest Germany, and did study mechanical engineering in my bachelor's, and then pretty much decided to move to Munich to learn a bit more innovation, and then thinking about my own startup. And today I want to talk briefly about how I came into robotics, why I ended up a bit in logistics, and actually what is my learnings so far. So yeah, my name is Greg Holz. Did finish up my bachelor's 2016, then decided to move to Munich. A bit more technical focus on mechatronics to learn a bit the newest knowledge actually about what is happening out there. My basic idea was a bit to learn like the technology from a top university and to apply it somewhere actually out there. So my goal was a bit to bring some innovation to the industry. So basically, most important part was that it really was just spending my time on the right topic and not really having the big other motivation, actually big other motivation. So my first step was a bit 2017. I met my co-founder, and actually my first lectures of the TU Munich was, to be honest, not the interesting one. Actually, the most boring one in my entire master's studies in Munich. Although actually quite nice for the networking, and yeah, we had the similar motivation, thinking about some topics we can and some problems we could solve together to bring some technology into the industry out there. Yeah, basically, I don't know why we stopped in logistics, thinking about the forklift. Actually, what is necessary to move a pallet or actually any load carrier ground-based, and yeah, we pretty much reduced it to just having the two single tips of the forklift. So because the future will be autonomous. That's what you learn for the masters in Munich. The future will be for like kind of driverless. We will have it all a bit smaller, better components, so all the electric motors getting better. So we decided to just actually reduce it to a minimum, to having just two single robots driving into the pallet. And yeah, we really just started like having this idea, pitching it to the professors, and yeah, spending a bit of our free time about how actually we could solve this problem, because our goal was actually in the end to continue doing this after our studies. And luckily, the TU Munich has a wide network from the entrepreneurial perspective as well. So it was quite nice to actually go into this kind of space. So yeah, we stick to one idea and keep on following it. So on the left-hand side, the forklift, then on the right-hand side, the goal. We applied for the first grants and the first scholarships. So in Germany, you have the Exist scholarship, which is quite nice. So we grouped up to 3 founders and started building the first wooden prototypes. I mean, from the industrial perspective, not very useful, but for the personal perspective, it was quite nice to actually to develop kind of a first prototype, a first product, and actually to learn what is actually the reality. Because in university, you really just learn the theory, and we're working with a lot of students together, since we have a huge support from the TU Munich. And the fun part is that most of the students really know how to simulate things or how to actually evaluate things in the theory. But when it comes to practice, it's really about how to fix a screw, etc. So it was really quite right to come from kind of a wooden prototype to a metal one. Yeah, but we managed to build actually 2 string robots, and we were driving in our lab kind of a bit a pallet around. We have the Drehmoton near us, also the makerspace. This is kind of a very cool workshop where you have some extras as a student as well to really actually building the robot. And then later on, we found the company. We did find out that we need to file some patents as well. So that's quite important to actually protect yourself to all the other big robotic companies and to have a actually good insight. What is your IP later on? I met more co-founders. We worked with a couple of students together to really grow a great team and actually to shape your vision, what you really wanted to do. And it's kind of, we started 2017, we still wanted it. We're now actually looking and attracting the first major investors to really actually bring the system to the industry, to make the first actually applications. And it's quite right, since actually the hardware and the software actually topic is quite a long road. So the motivation should really be that you really would like to have a look into the robotics, and that it's really your passion about it. Because it's, if you really want to make some fast starter money, actually an app or any digital application is way better than building a robot. But once you have the first steps done, it's actually quite nice. Your network is actually growing, and you really need to talk to people and you find your sort of support. So we first started as a professors in Munich, and now we're actually talking to the entire Germany and European wide. So that's why I got in touch with Thomas. Quite nice. And we learned as an engineer that engineering is not everything. So in the entire company to really work together, as well as the marketing, recruiting, etc. So it's really kind of nice to learn all the startup perspective as well. And to sum it all up, I think the automation is actually really growing an important market. So I can just encourage you to really spend your time in robotics, because there are kind of many problems out there which needs to be solved. As you can see, our core team is also just out of male founders, but we also have a lot of like women students joining us with some master thesis, bachelor thesis. So there's kind of some diversity ongoing this fall, but most likely males in the beginning. But you can hope we can make this all happen. And yeah, that's pretty much a bit about Filics. The story we came until up to date. If you have any questions, you can just send me a text or kind of the Q&A. And yeah, I would thank you, kind of Natasha, Thomas, and the whole TLA team for having me, and looking forward for the other presentations.
No problem, Gregor. Thank you so much. Interesting to know the side of entrepreneurial things. Next up, we have Luke from University of Hertfordshire.
You're right. Okay. I better start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. Okay, excellent. Okay, right, yeah. So as the screen would suggest, I'm from the University of Hertfordshire. I'm pitching something slightly different today. So I'm, selling the idea of doing a robotics course at Hertfordshire. So learning all the technical skills to go on and get these wonderful jobs. So the courses, the course that I'm really sort of going to talk about is the robotics and artificial intelligence course. So this is a B-Eng or an M-Eng. This course is really the course that I wish existed when I was a student, right? So in this course, that we're taking the approach of CDIO, so conceive, design, implement, and operate. Okay, so basically, the course is largely focused around a project where students design and build their own robot and program this robot. Yeah, so students will sort of learn. The course is really designed to provide the students with all-round skills. It starts off very guided in the first 2 years, and in the final year or years, depending on if you're doing the M-Eng or the B-Eng or the M-Eng, it will then become a lot more flexible, so you can tailor it towards and design something more towards your interests. So in this course, students will learn about mechanical engineering, CAD design, digital electronics, signal processing, the artificial intelligence principles, interface design, industrial robotics, embedded systems design, machine learning, and modern manufacturing. So things like 3D printing are going to be covered in there. So CAD design. So for the first year, we've only been running this a year so far, and it was an interesting start with COVID. But for example, for the CAD design, we're using Fusion 360. It's a modern environment. It's good. It's got a rapid learning curve. It's a hard course because it encompasses hardware and software, and robotics is a difficult thing, but it's fun. So it's a labor of love. So one of the real strengths at Hertfordshire is the resources available to students, right? So we've got digital electronics labs, workshops with large selections of tools, CNC machinery, a wide selection of 3D printers and laser cutters. And the thing is, we really encourage students to get hands-on with these devices so they get real world kind of practical experience. That's pretty much, if there's any questions, I've got a couple of links here. That's pretty much what I wanted to cover. So thanks you for inviting me to talk and any questions.
Thank you, Luke. We'll have questions right after ATA Recruitment. Stuart.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is it, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure. Right. Thank you so much. Stuart, you ready?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, over to you.
1 second. Okay, so this should work. Hopefully everybody can see that. although I am considering a career change and restudying at the University of Hertfordshire after that excellent presentation. Well done. I was asked to put together some ideas to talk to the students on the call about how you prepare for a career in automation or robotics. So a bit about us to explain why we're here. So we're a national engineering recruitment business, part of a pretty large group, and we've been in the field for since the 60s. So a well-established engineering recruitment business. We do a lot in automated logistics. I can see a couple of other names of customers that we currently deal with on the call. So yeah, we're heavily into logistics automation, and we also do a lot of business with companies that are involved in special purpose machinery, design, installation or service for automation too. So we're heavily invested in the sector. That's the sort of stuff we do, is design, project, technical sales, control service, practical type roles. And personally, I've been with the business for, this is my 15th year, which is a nice anniversary. So that's why we're here. There's been a lot of the content covered already, to be fair. It's been really interesting listening to the other presentations. I think as someone that's helped a lot of people find roles over the years, I think my first thing is you need to start thinking about, I wish I'd have done this when I was a student. I did a chemistry degree many years ago. You have to start thinking about what you want to do, I think, quite early on to start to form your plan, because you can see there's a wide range of courses that can lead you into a robotics career, a wide array of engineering courses, maths, physics, potentially artificial intelligence, the course at the University of Hertfordshire, of course, as well. So there's a raft of things that can get you into it. But I think what I find when I speak to students and graduates looking is they don't really understand what the career options actually are that they can end up doing. So that'd be my first question for people when they're looking for their career, is do you know what the career options look like? So you really need to start doing some research about what those roles, be it project role, technical sales, programming, practical roles. You need to get out there and start doing your research about what those roles involve, because the first thing is to really start to understand, I think, what you might want to do after your degree or your course that you're studying. And to do that, there's lots of online research you can do. You can reach out to employers through LinkedIn, or research the businesses you're interested in working for, talk to their HR teams, contact managers at those businesses to get understanding. You can speak to recruiters in the field. Obviously, Natasha, that was a interesting starting point. That's what you did, and that was a really big help for you. So I think there are people out there that can educate you about the stuff that you don't know. And I think you need to start thinking about, on that basis, what kind of role when you get into the field is it you're interested in actually going to do, because that kind of forms really what you do next. Because if you start to form that idea early before you graduate, then it starts to really become about generating more understanding, experience, and really about your network. And a lot of people have touched on network during the call. So if you form a picture of what you want to achieve, you can start to build your experience during your course in any way, shape or form that you can, based around targeting the areas that you want to move into afterwards, because that's going to help you achieve that end goal. You need to be reaching out to employers for voluntary work, unpaid work, internships, any experience you can get, because that's massively important to you. I think I would advocate for anyone who has the opportunity during their degree to go and do a year in industry. If your university or your course offers it, I would 100% guarantee to do it, because whilst I'm not here to talk about how to make your CV look good, I can say when companies and recruiters are picking candidates from the field, you will just stand out a lot more. So it's something I would advocate for anybody to do. I think also seminars and groups like this are huge ways for you to build your network of people that you don't already know, to find connections with. That's a massive way to find opportunities for when you leave university, begin speaking to people about what you want to do way before you graduate. Robotics competitions, I didn't add that in after we started. It was there to begin with, but you'll get to meet lots of interesting people that you wouldn't get to meet when you get involved in events that are going on within the industry. So it really is about building that network. I think these things all put together, it's not just about your experience that you'll gain. I think it shows your intent. So when it comes then being a job searcher in the field, if you can show during your studies that you've really targeted yourself about what you want to do and chosen things whilst you've studied that are focused around that, you've reached out and made the effort to go and speak to companies and people to educate yourself, maybe you've got yourself a year in industry, you've shown outside of work interest in robotics competitions and network groups, those things will help you learn what you want to do. They'll help you meet new people that will help you get there, but they'll just show you're willing. They'll show your passion for the field, which I think when you're looking for roles with little experience is a huge thing for employers. So it's all, yeah, I think it helps you build your understanding, your experience and your network. And I think that was a kind of about everything I had to say. So any questions, feel free to snapshot that email address and hit me up with anything you'd like to follow up with.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you to everyone who's presented. We've got a few questions. I have one question, so panelists, feel free to answer if this applies to you. We have a question that says, do you offer any internships or graduate programs?
Maybe I can pick that up from a KUKA perspective, and the answer is yes. So there's a shortage of skilled staff within this sector, so we're always looking for people. That's clearly the case, and so for example, at this site that I'm seated at now, we currently have 14 apprentices. So we take young people from a relatively young age, but we're interested in young people at any point in time, and yes, we do. We take interns. In fact, but the internships aren't always very structured. So just to give you a small example, we've got an interest now in South Africa. So we've only decided in the last month we're going to take on an intern to do some market research for us on the robotics landscape in South Africa. So sometimes they're very structured, sometimes they just come up kind of like that. But it's yes, we're interested in interns, and not on an exploitative basis either. We pay our interns, and secondly, we're also looking for graduates constantly. So from a KUKA perspective, it's yes, and yes.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Is there anyone else that would like to chip in on that?
Yes, I can answer this too. SSI Schafer is constantly looking for interns, and you can apply if you want to work there and in any field. So in the IT human resource office or even HEV systems. So check out on the website and apply, and you maybe you get a job there. It's also paid, so it's not unpaid, yes.
Thanks. I think the general answer would be check the website or even network, ask away if there's any internships. But yeah, I think that's answered for that question. I have one for Jeff. There's one that says, working at KUKA sounds like an amazing opportunity. Are there any upcoming vacancies for MEng graduates in Europe? And would it be possible to ask specific branches directly?
Yes, and yes. So if you go to KUKA.com, there'll be a listing there of all of our entities, our legal entities in each of the various countries that we serve, and there's contact details there for each of them as well. But again, we're always, sometimes just because ours is a big business, you automatically think it's very, very structured, and it's not. Sometimes it's a little bit chaotic. You put together your budget planning in the summer and galvanize it for the year ahead, and by the time it's kind of tied down, it's changed. So it's much more fluid than one might think. So it's just a case of dropping, drop a line to the local subsidiary and see what they want. The other thing I would say really, really quickly, because I heard this earlier today and it was quite interesting, but someone was talking about we've known for some time that we've got this escalating wage position in China. And someone told me today that the current wage position in China, the wages in China are now in excess of the wages in Portugal. So we've got this globally changing landscape with regards to where automation and manufacturing is going to take place. So don't have a fixed mind as to where you want to be. It could change very quickly.
Thank you, Jeff. This is quite an interesting question. I think it's really depends on what you're looking for, but we have one that says robotics or mechatronics career, what are some major technical skills we should have? For example, CAD modeling, MATLAB, etc. If anyone want to answer that, perhaps to your own specific roles that are being offered.
If I can just talk very quickly, and I don't want to hog everything, but what we're looking for is what we always look for is simulation. So it is CAD skills, it's simulation, it's offline programming, and it's virtual commissioning. So it's all those sorts of skills, and clearly robot programming and always PLC skills.
Thanks. Thank you again, Jeff. Anyone else, perhaps from academic side, perhaps Luke, do you want to chip in on this? What kind of skills does the uni look for?
Hold on, just coming back on. Yeah, I mean, so the most important thing I think is actually enthusiasm. I mean, it sounds crazy, but if you've got a very enthusiastic person that's willing to learn, that's actually probably the most important thing, because they will, they will develop the skills and focus on where their main interest area lies.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else, perhaps? I want to answer that question, perhaps from a different side.
From the startup perspective, so I can totally agree. You need like people who really are willing to learn actually a bit more that they like what they already have learned in the university, because the practical part is always a bit different. We're at the moment we're having a lot of mechanical engineers as well as software engineers, but we're lacking a bit of electrical engineers to really have some experience in kind of sensor data fusion to really actually combine things, because in the end robotics is not only hardware topic, it's not just a software case, it's really a combination of it. So I totally agree, you need the simulation of the entire robot, you need electrical part as well, to really have knowledge actually of everything. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, thanks. I think we've got perhaps time for one or two questions. We have another one that says, are there companies in the UK that provide jobs to students, brackets, recent graduates studying outside the UK? I'm not sure if anyone here provides that. No, I think with this case, so for the person that asked, generally that would be stated on the job adverts that you see. For example, visa sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. They would generally state that whether they do that or not. So yeah, just check that out when you look for your job hunt. I think that there's some few more. How are we with time, Tom? Are we okay to go for some more panelists? Yeah, okay, so we have a question that asks, I'm a doctoral student in robotics in a university in UAE, Arab Emirates. How do I network with major robotic institutes and organizations? Interesting question. I'm not sure how I would answer that. Anyone can give an answer to this one?
I would suggest picking up probably on what was said earlier by Stuart, use LinkedIn, because it's used by both industrialists and academics. If you look at the Middle East, for example, it's now growing quite quickly, the Middle East as a potential market. So yeah, LinkedIn is the place to be doing your research.
Certainly the foremost. I think you're networking right now. So right. Fundamentally, what you're doing right now is exactly the question that you're asking. So stuff like this, events like this, the competitions, that's exactly how you do it. And then if you use LinkedIn cleverly, you can find people that are related to that person in their network, and you can look to connect with those people too. So it takes time and effort, but it will lead you naturally to the right people if you're in stuff like this to begin with.
Yep, 100% agree with that. Yeah, LinkedIn, if you're looking for jobs, I think LinkedIn is the best way. Just network your way into finding a job, into getting a job. And even if you don't get one, the connections are there for the future. That's what I've been told. So I'm going to keep to that, and hopefully it will turn out all good. I think that's everything for now. Unfortunately, we weren't able to answer all questions, but if you have any questions that you want answered, feel free to email the panelists or TLA Robotics, and we will gladly forward that to anyone that you want it forward to. Thank you so much to the panelists again for your presentations, all interesting. Very happy to be a part of TLA Robotics with you guys, and hopefully see you again sometime. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.